This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Hope you are able to see my screen. Okay. So this training is about ServiceNow fundamentals. Okay, ServiceNow fundamentals, and we're gonna cover some development activities as well. Okay, this is how the your agenda looks like. Okay, we will try to discuss each and every topic which we are talking in the ServiceNow. All these are the topics which are related to ServiceNow itself. Okay, and development, these are the development activities, as some of you aware of this, but we are going to discuss more about these methods which are available. Okay, we'll see some sample examples as well. Okay, and my demo sessions are not going to be having with any ppts. Only this first session for demo we will have a ppt. For the next upcoming demo sessions I'm going to do in front of you. Based on that you can follow the same thing whenever you get a requirements similar way. And okay, let me open the ppt. Okay, we have more 19 slides. That's not going to take much time of yours. Okay, just high level. Before starting this, anyone could explain me what is cloud generally in your terms? What is cloud? Please make sure that you are very active in the class, because that makes me, a boost up kind of things if you ask any questions which are related to ServiceNow and all that. Whatever you know, it might be wrong or it might be correct. What about cloud? What do you know about cloud in IT?
Uh, in IT, cloud is infrastructure which is used for hosting multiple applications, platform services, and uh, lots of IT related like data stores or backups and everything. The good part with cloud is the client will not have to manage the infrastructure. They can uh, do some configurations like firewall rules and all those, and of course application development and administration, but they don't have to have the physical servers or maintain a facility for that.
Okay, great. Jira or BMC Remedy will comes under cloud, Rohit, or?
BMC has two offerings. One is cloud-based and another one on-prem. So like we have
Mhm.
lots of government customers. They don't generally go for the cloud services because they have lots of restrictions. So we
Okay.
have both infrastructures. For commercial, we have cloud-based AWS cloud for Remedy,
Okay.
and for government customers, it's in-house.
Okay, great. Yeah, I will try to explain you the terms as well. The other team members who don't have this IT experience, the terms which are used by Rohit regarding the infrastructure and on frameworks and all that. We'll try to see that as well. So these are the a few topics which we gonna cover in this PPT. Okay, what is service now? Generally, who uses this service now? What is the growth rate currently? Why we are looking for service now related opportunities or projects? And what is the service now architecture presently? Okay, and service now versions and releases. Generally, we have updates for each and every versions, right? How that kind of a architecture in service now that we're going to discuss, and who get the access to service now. This is all about um, service now demo session. Okay, going forward we'll discuss furthermore. So generally, in short terms,
Hi,
cloud
Sunil.
is nothing. Sorry, yeah, please.
Sorry for the quick interruption. So I just joined late. My sincere apologies for that. So
Okay,
I'm actually looking for the developer course. So is this a admin course or is this a developer course or does this include both?
let me open you. This is the agenda which we're going to cover in the entire sessions. So includes development, and it includes the fundamentals activities. What are ACLs, what are the update sets, what are your policies, and if you go to the development, this all includes scripting. How the on
Okay.
change on cell edit on the server side scriptings, all the debug activities, all the client side AJAX callings,
That's
and
great.
where to script what you do. Okay, so we are not
Correct.
including any integrations here because integration is completely separate training, but I will definitely make sure that I will give you a demo for the integrations as well with using a SOAP or REST or at least ServiceNow integration, ServiceNow to ServiceNow. Okay.
That's great. Just a
Yeah.
request. If you can spend at least 10 minutes on the development part, as how you're going to be handling the scripting part, whether we're going to take a live project or whether we're going to take a lab sessions, or if you can just spend 10 minutes on that, because I and my colleague is actually looking for the developer course. So
Mhm.
we are just seeing
Okay.
how much exposure we'll get through for the scripting part specifically. So if you
Okay.
could just spend 10 minutes, that will be really great.
Sure. At the end, we will have a look into that. Okay.
Wonderful.
We'll start with
Wonderful.
this
Thank
fundamentals because the other people is very new for this. So
you.
let's start
Definitely.
with this fundamentals, and then at the end we will make sure that we cover that as well. Okay.
Great. Sure.
Okay. And generally cloud services and everything, as mentioned by Rohit, everything is hosted in the cloud itself. I'm in the internet based. Okay. Internet based applications. So it doesn't require any installation of any particular tool into your local machine to work on this service now. Okay, generally if you're working on any frame, as mentioned by Rohit, so there is a on-frame as well as on cloud activity for the BMC remedy. It's kind of a tool. Okay, it's also one of the ITSM tool. ITSM is nothing but infrastructure service management. Okay, IT service management, information technology service management. Okay, internally in an organization to manage the services, they will use ITSM kind of a tools. There are a number of different tools. One of them falls under ServiceNow as well. ServiceNow is not only born for ITSM, it has different other application. We will discuss that on the ServiceNow architecture place. Okay. So if you see, this is the cloud service which can be handled in the internet. If you have the internet, if you have the access to the cloud service, you can manage, you can no, log in into that particular application. You can manage the things based on your rights on that particular application. Okay. For example, in ServiceNow, you need to have a admin right. To do, if you have the admin right, you can do whatever you want in the ServiceNow personal instance. I will show you how to raise a personal instance. That comes under a cloud application. Cloud application doesn't need to install any third-party applications in your system. Okay, as mentioned by Rohit, might be there is some configurations which can be controlled by the organization. For example, I'm the no entrepreneur. I started with ServiceNow platform. So in that case, I will have some VPNs installed for security purpose because everyone is working from home, right? So I will try to install some VPNs so that you can access via that VPN only. Okay, just need to kind of provide the OTP or something like that. My authentication methods in the ServiceNow, then only you are going to allow into this ServiceNow interface or environment. Such kind of instructions can be kept on the cloud service to make sure that data breach is not going to be happen. Okay, simple to say, there are different kind of other applications as well which are hosted in this cloud. Okay, which can be accessed, which can be managed in the cloud service. Okay, so next thing is in cloud also we have a different ways. We have a software as a service, we have a platform as a service, we have an infrastructure as a service. We have these three different parts. We will see that in the next slide. Okay, so we have a cloud services and deployment models. These are the software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. Okay, so if you see, software is nothing but a particular tool. Okay, only we are accessing that particular tool. We are not going to access the platform, or we are not going to access the infrastructure. For example, if you take Gmail, we cannot see the backend code, how it designed. We cannot see all the Microsoft related applications as well, how they design, what is our architecture which they use for doing that. We simply use that tool called Gmail to send an email or to receive an email, right? And we have other Dropbox as well. We just store the information, and whenever we want, we will retrieve the information. That's only a software which is used for a service. Okay, we can only get the services from that particular third-party application or a software. Okay, that we call it as a SaaS. And if you go to the platform as a service, then what is the difference of platform as a service, and what is the difference here with software as a service? So as I mentioned, software only given to us. Okay, only we given some credentials to log in into that particular software, and we will use the service. But if you go to the platform as a service, can someone mute yourself? Yeah, if you have any questions, you can unmute and ask me at the same time. Okay, thank you. Platform as a service is nothing but it will provide the entire platform where you can manage, you can create, you can manage, you can update, or you can delete whatever things you want to do, you can do by using this platform as a service. It will provide you the entire architecture, how it is designed. Okay, you can manage that according to your needs. That will comes under a platform as a service. In that you have a few organizations like Windows, Azure, we have App Engine, we have Force.com, and ServiceNow is also going to be fall under PaaS, platform as a service. Okay, so where you can manage the backend activities as well. But software as a service, you can just use the service which is provided by that particular tool. Okay, for example, Gmail is only used to send out an email, receive an email. Apart from that, you cannot do anything over there. But ServiceNow, you can design such kind of a software as a service related applications, as well as you can backend, you can control the architecture of that application. Okay, for example, not only sending the email, it can send out a some gifts as well, some procurement activity as well, some kind of automations also possible in the ServiceNow. Okay, infrastructure as a service. Over here, you cannot have the control in the entire data centers. Okay, you will have a small kind of a database which will store the information, but you will have a control on that particular database. Most of the things you don't have a control in ServiceNow as well. You need to follow how it is in the ServiceNow, how it designed by ServiceNow. But if you come to the infrastructure as a service, you will have all the data centers, separate data centers for your application, separate architecture. You can manage platform as a service, software as a service, in the infrastructure as a service. Both can be added here. Additionally, you can have a control on the data centers as well. Amazon Web Service have its own data center. Even ServiceNow has its own data center, but it's relying on the Oracle for doing the activities of ServiceNow. I mean database. To perform any operations, we need to rely on the Oracle data centers. ServiceNow has its own databases to control its data of all the clients or all the vendors. That's it. But Amazon Web Services have its own language or have its own data centers to have a control on their entire application, which is designed by Amazon Web Service. So another example is Rackspace. Those are the organizations. So if I go back, what is ServiceNow? Yeah, ServiceNow, as I mentioned, it's a platform as a service. Okay, that supports all the IT service management and automated common business and process. Okay, I'll try to explain you when we are going to discuss about IT service management. Generally, what is this? Initially, ServiceNow started with ITSM. Okay, as every tool, it is also started with the ITSM. Most of the people think that it is a ticketing tool. Ticketing tool is nothing but it's a kind of ITSM only. If there is any problem in the organization for the employees, they will raise a ticket. In ServiceNow, in IT terminology, we call it as an incident. Priority 1 incident, priority 2 incident, priority 3, something like that. Similarly, it is an incident in ServiceNow. We call it as a ticket. In ServiceNow, it is an incident. Okay. Who founded the ServiceNow? It's Fred Ludy. This picture is not for Fred Ludy's. It is Bill McDermott. He is the CEO of ServiceNow currently. Okay. From 2019, he is the CEO. Previously, he is a different person. Okay, and this is the link which contains all the vendors and customers of the ServiceNow. Okay, anyone knows who is vendors and who is customers? Who is vendors, who is customers in general terms?
In general terms, like we have lots of customers. And if I take the the customer and vendor relationships that we have in our company, like there are lots of people, lots of government agencies use our radio devices. So those are customers. But in case there is some issue with the network or the devices that customers are using, we have lots of vendors whom we contact, and they go and reach out to their sites and fix the issues. So with customers and with vendors, we have different SLAs. Like if it is P1, then there will be a different SLA and for vendor. And customer gives us the support related. The costing is based on these terms, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here I will tell you the service now. What is vendors and service customers for this service now? Okay, ServiceNow is as I mentioned, it's a platform as a service. It have all the control of their applications. Okay, so for example, if a new person is starting a new organization, or else for example, it's assume that Deloitte is starting their own applications in ServiceNow. Okay, inbuilt. I mean, they want to design the ServiceNow application in their platform, not for a customers of their customers. Okay, so now so assume that it's a product-based company. It want to start the ServiceNow application in their product so that they can manage the IT related or any other related application. In that case, first thing they will do is they will coordinate with ServiceNow. There are several account executives. They will coordinate with ServiceNow, and they will get the information of costing related to the ITSM. If they are planning to have the ITSM, we have 3 packages. Every application will have 3 packages: standard, enterprise, professional. Okay, it depends on their terms. I mean, it might be it might be given as some low cost, and it might be some heavy cost also from the ServiceNow side. ServiceNow is very expensive tool currently in the market. Comparing with any other tools, it's an expensive tool to use, because that's that much how the capability it contains. That's the reason it is top in the market, and it's high in the costing as well. Okay, for example, if so and so XYZ company is planning to install the ITSM related application in their organization, they will coordinate with executive of ServiceNow. Okay, and they will get the costing related information. Okay, it will say that we have standard pack, we have IT professional pack, we have enterprise pack. For standard pack, we are going to install these kind of functionalities for you, and for professional, we are going to give you everything related to ITSM, and for enterprise, there are some restrictions. I mean, you cannot use this, you cannot use that kind of application. Okay, for example, professional pack, almost in the ITSM there are, assume that there are 50 plugins. Okay, so ServiceNow will use plugins to install the applications in your organization. Remember that. Okay, if you want ITSM standard pack related plugins will be installed in your organization. Okay, you need to pay for every year. The invoice is going to be generated to that particular organization. It depends how they're gonna use. Okay, if they want to use that extremely high, they can go to the professional pack. If they want to use a standard pack, they don't want in depth of all the ITSM activities, they will go back to the standard pack. So every client will start with the normal basic standard itself, standard pack. By understanding that platform, once they are good at that, once they have the ServiceNow own developers, they can custom, if they know that they can customize their application, in that case only they will go with the another packs. Okay, each pack will have a separate costing. Okay, the costing is not going to be revealed by any other person, even though they are a ServiceNow employees also. It will be not revealed. Only the information is between the directors or SMEs, between one client, one organization to the another organization. Okay, fine. Who is vendors and who is customer? For example, I'm the XYZ company. Okay, I'm trying to install a plugin for you. Okay, I want to start with the ITSM plugin. So I will go to ServiceNow and I will request for a standard plugin. Okay, I will pay whatever they want, and I will get that plugin and install in my organization. So for ServiceNow, I'm a customer. There are a number of customers as well. Okay, now how this customer can be converted into a vendor? Okay, every customer, before they might start with vendor, or they might directly start with customer. Okay, if I assume that we will think about this, I'm the customer. Okay, I taken a plugin, I use that. Okay, I find I was very interested in that. So now I'm going to recommend that ServiceNow to any other enterprise organizations or any other clients. For example, I'm the service provider as well as a product based company. Okay, ServiceNow I used in my organization. I installed that plugin, standard plugin. I was great with the ServiceNow tool. Now I have another client who is coming up. He don't know about ServiceNow. Okay, he is working with GMC Remedy or Jira, any other third-party tools. They ask us, so can we customize my application like Jira application, or we can simply say no. Instead of that, see, customization is everything is possible in ServiceNow. We are recommending ServiceNow to that particular our client. Okay, that XYZ client. So we can coordinate with ServiceNow saying that we are recommending your things. Okay, and we will also get benefits from that. Okay, like a mediators. Okay, we will coordinate with ServiceNow saying that our client is planning to get ServiceNow because of us, because we are recommending them. Okay, is there any benefits for us? Okay, in that case, ServiceNow thinks that you are a vendors now, because they are a partners kind of things. Okay, now you are a part of that ServiceNow, and you are recommending ServiceNow to any other things. You will become a vendors or a partners. Okay, something like that terminology can be used in the ServiceNow. You can differentiate. So if you are recommending, you are a customer as well as a vendor, you are as well as a partner in the ServiceNow. If you are recommending more, even for us, if there is any client which are looking for ITSM implementation, if we have a good rapport, we will recommend that so and so XYZ company will do a better job in the ITSM. You can go with that. Okay, that depends on the versions which are used. For example, ServiceNow will differentiate the partners with different names. For example, gold partners, elite partners, platinum partners, diamond partners. Okay, based on this, ServiceNow will recommend. Okay, how Shravan, how we get that elite partners for our organization? It depends on number of certifications you do in the ServiceNow. Okay, they will be given a certain count saying that, for example, if you want to reach elite partners, you need to do this many CSC certification, this many HR certification, this many CSM certifications. Overall count should be this one. You should contribute yourself in pre-sales certification, Delta, Micro. There are n number of certifications which can be considered as a criteria for getting the partnership role. It might be diamond, it might be currently Infosys or in Accenture, I guess. Accenture or Infosys is in the top in the partnership, I guess. So anything if ServiceNow comes, they will redirect to the Accenture. They will get more projects. Okay, they can route if they have the heavy workload, they will route that projects to any other sub clients. Okay, by getting some money, they will act as a mediators. Something like that. The market is currently. Okay, it's not like everything is going to be handled by Accenture. They can recommend any other small organization and they will get some money from that organization. It's all about business. Okay, so this is about ServiceNow and its part. If I go to the next part, and who uses the ServiceNow? Okay, generally, if you want to start with any application, custom application, or if you want to start with any tools, you need to know who is the personas, who is the no actors in that particular tool. For example, if you are using ServiceNow, who can use the ServiceNow generally? Who can use the ServiceNow? If you see this image, all these people are going to be using ServiceNow. Employees. As end users, each and everyone will have access to the ServiceNow. They will use that to raise the tickets or to raise the cases or to use the platform services and all that. They can do that as employees, as a end users. Employees is nothing but end users. IT support team. If there is any issue raised by end users, by the employees, okay, it will comes under first support team. We call it as a service, and we call it as a agents, service desk agents. Okay, if any issue raised in the platform, they will come to the IT support team. That incident is going to receive first by the IT support team. One more question here. One organization might have n number of different tools. It's not only a service, no, it might be different other tools also. But for ticketing purpose, they are only using ServiceNow. In that case, for example, if you are facing any issue with Microsoft Outlook, you can raise a issue in the ServiceNow. Okay, it is a unique platform which can be controlled in a ServiceNow of a organization needs. If you are getting any laptop issue, you can raise that in a ServiceNow saying that I have a laptop issue. That will be received by the IT support team in the initial stages. They will do a first level triage. Triage is nothing but they will research on that. What is this incident? whom should we redirect to. For example, if it is a laptop issue, they will issue that ticket to the infrastructure team, laptop infrastructure team. If it is a ServiceNow, application issue, we have a separate group called ServiceNow support. They will route that. Okay, and if there is any other tool issue, for example, Microsoft issue, so they will route to the Microsoft team. Okay, there are separate teams to manage in ServiceNow. They will handle that tickets. Okay, it depends on which tool the issue relates to. If it is ServiceNow, the ServiceNow group is going to be handle that. ServiceNow developers. Okay, again in this we have another support called L2. This first IT support will comes under L1, means initial triage. Okay, they will just research, okay, this is incident about ServiceNow application. They will route that to the L2. Okay, L2 will see, L2 is have some minimal roles. Okay, they will dig into that application and see what happens in the application perspective in the high level. Okay, if they can fix that, they will fix that. If not, they will route that to the L3. L2 will have the platform access. Okay, they will have a minimum basic knowledge, whether it is because of so and so role issue or because of so and so scripting issue or something like that. Based on that, they will route that ticket to the L3. If they are able to fix that, they will do. If not, they will route to the L3. L3 is a team who is highly involved in that application design, or who has some scripting knowledge, who has some in-depth of service knowledge. They will handle the ticket and they will resolve that incident. This is generally all the IT processes. Most of the organization will use the same process, L1, L2, L3 process, but their naming convention might be different. They might call, they might not call as L1. They might call level 1, level 2, level 3, or they will call in a different other terminology as well. Okay. So, and administrators is nothing but L2 persons. Implementers is nothing but L3 persons. Administrators it's not, they have the admin role, but they will not look into the backend scripts. They will just high level look into the what are the roles which have that person. Is that any role which is missing? For example, if user comes on and saying that I cannot see the incident module to raise a incident, either he can raise a call or he can connect with service desk agent directly, saying that I don't have a problem related application to raise a problem. So something like that can be raised. So administrator will see, okay, why this problem related application is not visible to the end user. We will check the roles. If any role is missing, the administrators will give that particular role to them. That is a L2 activities. Okay, implementers is nothing but, for example, even though they have the role, they are not able to see the application. In that case, it will going to be implementers. They will dig in more and see why it's backend, if there are any errors which are throwing to the end users. Because of that, it's not able to see or something like that. Developers is finally, even though implementers, the person who is going to implement, even though they don't have internally, they can segregate between two, implementers and developers. It's not followed by every other organization, but in ServiceNow you can divide that. If it is a development activity, you can route that to the development team. If it is an implementation activity, backend infrastructure, for example, they want ABCX application to be installed, that is very emergency for them. Okay, similarly, how incident problem is there, they want another problem to kind of application. Okay, why that is not available? Such kind of a question might be asked by the clients as well, I mean employees as well. So in that case, implementers have the architecture knowledge. They will guide why it is happened. This developer is not every mandatory for them to know the entire architecture, how it is designed for that particular issue. Only they will involve in the scripting part. Okay, any new functionality need to be designed or any existing functionality need to be debugged, in that place they will be involved. Okay. Yeah, this is the current growth rate of ServiceNow. It's almost 1 year back. Okay, please remember. So it's if you see, this is how the growth rate is in currently. If you compare this growth rate with any other tools, most of the tools have the up and downs. But if you see this growth rate, it's almost growing drastically. With currently 4.43 is the current ServiceNow growth trend, but it might be increased. Okay, it's 1 year back data, right? So it might be increased. Okay, and it is because the growth rate why it's increasing is because of its architecture. I will show you the architecture. Initially it started with 2000 table with basic ITSM ticketing option, then later on currently in 2021 it almost included ML and AI related applications as well. I will show you the other things as well. And this is the architecture. If you see this architecture, no other tool have this kind of architecture. Even BMC, Remedy, or any Jira related tools, or any Salesforce and any other tools don't have such kind of all the application inbuilt in a single platform. ServiceNow. Okay, in 2012 it started with service management. It's nothing but IT service management. You can see in the left side top corner. These are the application inbuilt. They started with incident problem and change. Later on, they involved asset related, facilities related, legal related, finance related, marketing related. Everything has been added in the IT service management. And not only IT service management, if you take the plugins, if you are ready to pay the customer service related one, you are ready to get this kind of applications as well. We have separate portals as well, CSP and CSM related portals. Customer service portal and customer consumer portal, something like that. Okay, if you are willing to get the HR onboarding, offboarding activities and maintaining the task and maintaining that applications and all that can be get from the HR application. All these are the different application. If you see the first row, the graded part, that is the application name. In between that red color is nothing but it is a functionalities which are available in that particular application. Incident management, problem management, change management, asset management, facility management, legal management, finance management, marketing management. All these are the different sub applications in the main parent called service management. Okay, and if you go to the customer, if you have a HR, you can take a screenshot of this one. Okay, it might be helpful for you. Okay, whenever you are starting with project, they might say you are going to work on resource management. Okay, in that case you just look into this architecture. Okay, you need to know some basics on IT management. Okay, so to learn all these things you need to have a basic fundamentals and development knowledge. That is what our training intend to. We are not going to take a separate training on ITSM, separate training on CSM, ITSM. We have separate trainings and trainers available for each and every applications. Okay, we are involving to do all these things. You need to have a basic fundamentals and as well as admin related knowledge. Then only you can handle all this application. This just application, you need to know the process, how it is built. Okay, if you want to customize, if you have a development and basic knowledge, you can do that activities. And we have a discovery, service management, event management related activities. In bit, if you see, all these are the automations. So it's going to support for all the outstanding applications. For example, performance analytics can be supported to HR. Service portal can be supported to all the application. Okay, and developer tools and orchestration, and we have predictive model intelligence. All this will support to all other application. It is a standalone applications. Okay, which can be supported to all the existing application in your organization. If you want performance analytics to be involved, you just need to activate. By default, ServiceNow will provide that. If you want advanced level things, you need to pay for that. You need to subscribe. I mean, subscription we call it as. Okay, it's not like for example, if you want something, for example, if you want field services, you can get only this if you get the at least enterprise or standard application in this customer service management. If you want this knowledge base, no need. ServiceNow will by default give you that. If you are ITSM, at least standard pack. If you have that, a knowledge base will be given. If you want to advanced version of knowledge base, you need to subscribe that. Okay, if you are ITSM professional, no need of subscription also. You will get an advanced level of all these automation tools. We call it as a automated activities. Sorry, automated activities, which can be used for all other tools. Okay, so I'm going to the next slide. Before going to that, any questions here or previous slides? Okay, assuming there are no questions, I'm going to the next slide. Okay, these are the major customers for ServiceNow. They might be converted into this. These are just customers. Okay, these are not the separate vendors or no clients for them. These are all the customers for them. So if you see, you can see the topmost organizations are using this service now. It means that customers is nothing but they provided some plugins, applications to each and every organization which you are seeing here. Okay, it's not like, for example, if there is a Netflix is not going to handle everything in the ServiceNow only. They might have other tools as well, but they are using a part of that of ServiceNow. In build, they are using that. Okay, Facebook, you can see Twitter, you can see Dell, and you can see Kodak. All the operating systems are mostly are going to prefer ServiceNow only. Banks, you can see Citibank and ING, AIG, all these are banks related things. More is just a minute. I'm running out with charge. Okay. Okay, I'm going to the next slide. Okay. Assume that you install any application in mobile app in your mobile. Okay, for example, WhatsApp or any other Instagram or whatever. Every 6 months or at least at a particular time you will get an update. Do you know at which time you will get an update? For every 6 months you will get an update, or every 6 months, or every 3 days, or every 1 month, or 1 year. We cannot predict that, right? For other tools. But for ServiceNow, you can blindly believe that every 6 months it's going to release with a new version. So ServiceNow is a unique thing which, previously, if I go to the architecture, this is ServiceNow is a unique architecture which is going to handle all the applications in itself. So we don't need a separate no tool for HR, separate tool for SecOps, separate tool for ITM. Only one ServiceNow platform where you can handle all this application if you pay for that. Okay, that is the reason. That is also one of the reason it is top in the market. Previously, it started in 2012. It started with service management. Later on, in the next coming years, it started with ITBM, ITOM, SecOps, customer service, HR. In between, separate no automation tools and separate applications in between that main application. Because of that, it is a top in the market with successfully integrating that with all the clients. Okay, and if you go to the releases, initially in 2012 it started with every 1 year they started with a new version, and they named it as a alphabetical order. For example, in 2011 they started with Aspen, okay, normal ITSM, and then 2012 they expanded their ITSM with other application like asset facilities and all that, and they named it as a Berlin. So they taken almost 1 year to release the application, because it is a initial stages. And if you see in 2013 also, there is they started with Calgary as a version name. Okay, and later on they started 2 versions every year. If you see 2014 they started with Dublin is one of the version which contains a unique functionalities in that, and later on Eruka, yeah, this is another version, which is all these are the their states or countries names. Okay, states, I guess. All these are the their process of doing that application. For example, every year they are going to release 2 versions. Each version have a unique applications in it. Okay, they might come with customer service management, or they might come with any sub application in that particular main application. So if you see, currently we are in 2021, we are in Cubic version now, Q letter. Okay, it has been designed in 2020. It is Paris version, and after that LMNOPQ. Yeah, next is a Cubic, and next upcoming version is a Rome version, R letter. Okay, currently most of the clients are still at Orlando, Paris also, but already Cubic also released. They can upgrade to the Cubic. Okay, so these are the different processes. Every 6 months they will release a new version. Okay, in these 6 months we have a different hot fixes and patch releases. What is this hot fix generally? Okay, for example, if there is any issue raised in the application or version, for example, currently we are in Cubic, right? So currently we are in a Cubic. So in between Paris, Orlando, I'm sorry, Paris and Cubic, if there is any issue raised by a client saying that after upgrading to Cubic, I'm facing this issue. If they mention that ServiceNow will be involved, okay, they will do a hotfix, workaround solution for you. That we call it as a hotfix. It might be replicated to all other organization also. For each and every organization, they will coordinate and they will do a hotfix. Okay, there might be n number of hotfixes for one release, between one release to another release. Okay, all this hotfix every 3 months they will release a patch. Okay, this patch is nothing but a collection of all the hotfix workaround solution. They will design a permanent solution in this release between one release to another. For example, if I take an example of Istanbul and Jakarta, okay, this Istan, they are converted to Jakarta. I mean, they are upgraded to Jakarta. In between, there might be different issues raised. Okay, they will come up with a hotfix workaround solutions. Okay, and they will collect all this workaround solution and they will keep a permanent solution in a patch release. Hotfix and patch release is going to be handled by ServiceNow. It's not our headache. We will only involve in when to upgrade to the latest version. For example, if you want to go to Cubic from Paris, we will involve at that time. Okay, apart from that, everything is going to be handled by ServiceNow only, hotfix and patch release things. Okay, they will have all our instance access. They will control our instances to upgrade to the latest versions. Hotfix and after patch release also, you will might face some more issues that we call it as hotfixes that can be addressed in the next version. Okay, mostly they will try to restrict to have only one patch release between one version to another version. It depends. If there is multiple issues, they will have a multiple patches as well. Hotfix are each and every organization which are facing the issue, they will come up with a hotfix. They will do some workaround solution. Okay, so currently we are in a Cubic version. Okay, so I'm going to the next slide, and so this is a place you how to get your personal instance. Okay, ServiceNow for doing your own applications, or if you want to work on CSM, if you want to work on HR, there is no cost involved for your normal developers if you are using your personal developer instance. Okay, how to get that? This is the process. You need to go to developer.servicenow.com and you need to click on create an account. This is a 1 years back PPT, so it might be very different, but you will easily understand by looking into those options if you know this process. You just need to click on create an account, and if you go to this, they will ask you a few details of yourself: first name, last name. Make sure you give your personal details. Even you can give your organization email ID as well, but the email will be sent to the Outlook. Okay, make sure you give your Gmail so that you can have another account for your organization if you require. So all this email, last name, password, and all that, you need to check box that. And next thing is you need to give your user ID as per password. Okay, and just click on sign in. Once you click on that, it will show a pop-up which contains all these agreement related details. Blindly, you can click on that checkbox and click on submit. Okay, and if I go to the next one, and yeah, after that, now after doing all this, you will be in logged in as a personal developer site. So I will go back. I will try to show you my personal developer site. If you see, this is my personal developer site. Okay, this is my personal developer site. They will create your own personal developer instance. See, personal developer site is different, personal developer instance is different. Okay, in personal developer, first you need to log in with your details in personal developer site, the process which I showed to you. After that, you will get this button. Previously it is different, now it is different. Okay, and now you are in a Cubic version currently. Okay, that option is also available. I will show you. So yeah, after giving these details, you need to click on this request as a request an instance. Might be this button has been changed in the latest versions, but yeah, just click on this one. Okay, after that, it will ask you to provide some information whether you just give that you are for practice sessions you are doing this, and click on I understand. After that, it will ask you this kind of a page where you can get the application. Okay, just understand why you are doing this. If you are doing for your learning purpose, take the latest version. If you are doing this activity for client purpose, for example, client is facing some issue in their tool, you want to see whether it is issue for ServiceNow or it's a issue because of our customization. In that case, you need to activate a Madrid or whatever the client is in. Client might be in Orlando, client might be in New York, or client might be in Quebec. So based on that, you want to activate your application instance, ServiceNow instance or ServiceNow environment. Okay, can I when I was doing this PPT, I selected Orlando. Now you can select the Quebec. After that, they will provide you the current they will provide you the admin and password. If you want to remember, you can do, or else you can reset your password as well. Okay, so if you click on link, automatically that will log in into your personal developer site. Now no need of doing that, you need to click on this button, start building. This is my instance ID 64866. When I click on that, I will logged into this. Okay, might be the interface is different for you. For example, the interface will be like this for you. Okay,
So in this training, which version we will be using?
Quebec, the latest version only.
Okay.
Okay, we are going to use only the latest version so that you can see the latest functionalities which are added by ServiceNow. Okay, so this is the process. Just in the next coming class, try to follow all these steps and try to ready with your personal instance. Every day there will be a task for you based on whatever I covered. Based on that only, I'm going to give you a task. It's up to you whether you're going to complete that or not. But if you are really willing to complete, definitely there will be a questions from your side. We can discuss that on the next call. Okay, please try to activate your personal developer instance, and this personal developer instance will be deactivated for every 10 days if you're not using that. Remember, if you're not using only, it will be deactivated for every 10 days. So if it is deactivated, if you go to my screenshot, here you can see this button, right? Restore an instance. You need to click on that so that it will restore your previous instance. Okay, if you are not doing that, if you are clicking on request a new instance, again you can get a new instance also. It's a free of cost. You can delete your instance, you can wipe up your changes what you do in this instance, or else you can get your another instance by closing this. All the things can be possible with a free of cost. Okay, and if you if for example there is a 10 days inactivity, right? So it will be deactivate if you are not using for 10 days. For every day it will be went into a sleep mode. You need to wake up that. Once you log into the developer site, it will automatically start waking up your instance. For example, today night I worked on the instance. Tomorrow morning, if I open this, it will be available. If I open day after tomorrow, it will be in a sleep mode. I need to wake up this. Okay, if you are not using for 10 days, automatically that will be deactivated. All the changes which you made were lost. You need to click on that restore instance option to re-get your application. But don't make sure that at least you open once in a 5 days also. At least if you're not even using, just try to activate and open this developer site, then log out again. So it will reset your inactivity again for next 10 days. So please do that if you want to work on the ServiceNow platforms. Okay, anything if you are new to ServiceNow, if a client asks you something, you can design that in your personal instance, see whether it is working or not. If it is working, then you can implement same activity in the client instance. Don't directly start with for example, client say that I need a custom application, can you design that? Yes, you can say you can design that. For definitely they will ask a POC for you. POC is nothing but a proof of concept. It's nothing but client need to believe you that you are able to do that application. So in that case, they will ask a POC, kind of a demo. For demo, you cannot use their platforms, right? You can use the personal platforms, personal developer platform. You can create an application. You can, here you have the create app option. If you see, you can create your own application and okay. And I will tell you what is the procedure we're gonna follow in our trainings. Are we going to design a new project or new application? How it will be? We will discuss on that. Okay, in the in last 10 minutes. So we are already near to 1 hour, and I'm just going to see what are the other things which I need to cover. Yeah, this is the instance, and later on, if you have any questions, let me know, and we can see all these topics we are gonna cover. Okay, not in the admin. These are the topics we're gonna cover. This is going to be nearly 20 days or 22 days kind of training. Okay, which we are going to cover all these topics every day. It might be one topic, it might be two topics, but in depth I'm going to show you how I'm creating a user, how I can create a role, how I create a group, and even for this as well, how I can write a script, what are the place where I can write a script, why to write a script, is there any alternative methods without writing a script. In service now, most of the things have a alternative options. Either you can write a script, or without a scripting also you can do that activity. Okay, for every functionality there are two ways, either to write a script or not to write a script. It depends on the developer, or a best practice. He can follow the best practices of that particular organization. Okay, and introduction of, yeah, please.
Sorry. Do we have Flow Designer and Workspace Agent as well covered?
Works, I did not get that. Workspace flow design we can cover when we are discussing about workflows. What is workplace?
The Workspace Agent.
Oh, workspace agent we are not going to cover. That is just a UI. You can activate that plugin. You can see how it is AWS, I guess. Yeah, plugin. Agent workspace.
Correct.
Agent
Agent
workspace is a
Workspace.
plugin. It's just a kind of a platform which is used for. Yeah, thanks for reminding that. Agent workspace is a place which is used for the L1 people. Okay, mostly L1 people are going to use that, because whenever a ticket is raised, or whenever they get a call from the end user, they will give a customer support, right? For example, if I am running an organization, I will give a customer support. Every people will raise a call saying that my laptop is not opening, I cannot raise an incident, so I'm calling to the customer support. That call can be received by the L1 support in a agent workspace. Okay, that is separate process. Agent workspace is a separate platform where they can manage the L1 related activities. L1 will be online available over there. They will get a call, they will accept that call, and they will see what is the issue of the end user, and they will log an incident in behalf of end user. That is a platform in ServiceNow for L1 people, and if required, L2 can also be handled over there. They can also use. Okay.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the admin part. We are going to cover a SLS related one. I will tell you each and every terminology. Don't worry about this. What is SLA and why to use OLA and underpinning contract and all that options. How to create the users. Is there an option to automate that creation of users? Okay, and also we will see this basic forms list and all that. And what are the different modules, how to create an application and all that. Okay. Service level agreements, how to design a workflows, how to assign that SLA in depth of SLAs by giving an examples. Okay, and what is ACLs? Access control list is nothing but CRUD operations. We'll see out of box how it is designed. We'll try to explain that. And see what is out of box OOTB. We call it as out of box. Out of the box is nothing but every tool when you install out of box functionality will be already designed backend in a platform as a service applications. Okay, you can customize that application according to your need. That is ServiceNow thing. Entire platform can be customized according to your business needs. But already ServiceNow will provide that backend process for you for ITSM, for ASM, any application. Out of box process will be available. If you want to change that process, you have a rights to do that. Okay, so that is a out of box. Don't forget this terminology, out of box. Out of box is nothing. Some tools will call it as vanilla in their tools, but in ServiceNow we call it as a OOTB, out of the box. It means that functionality which is already designed by the ServiceNow. If you want to customize, you can customize. Okay, few things related to database cannot be controlled because it is just a platform as a service. But if it is an infrastructure as a service, you can control the database related activities as well. Okay. So if I go to this, yeah, you have the UI policies and all that. I will tell you what is the use of each and everything. And yeah, L1 related activities, L2 related activities, what are groups, roles, user preferences, what is this mean for? And we have a knowledge management as well, how to create a knowledge article and how to publish it, how to send to approvals and all that. and we will slightly discuss about the service portal. For service portal, for integrations, for CSM, for JRC, for all these, I have a different other trainers and different other training sessions. Okay, we will give a high level knowledge to understand, to start with the ServiceNow projects. Okay, on this service portal. Suddenly, if someone asks you to change the logo or to add some widget on the service portal or to design a separate functionality, we will give you a knowledge on that. We are not going to make you learn about JavaScript, HTML, CSS in this training. We'll just give you a platform where you can do that scripting. Okay, we'll try to save some examples also. Okay, we will design in front of you. I will add that widget into the portal and you will see the differences. Okay, that is about service portal and about scripting. Okay, so as is the fundamentals and development, every application, if you want to start, you need to have a basic fundamentals and development skills to manage that application. It's not only if you know the process, you're gonna do everything. You should know the backend activities, how it is performing. Okay, if page is not getting loaded, it's taking almost 1 or 2 minutes. You can assume that there is a burden on the onload activities. On loading of a page is taking a longer time thing. Okay, there is a backend onload client script which are running, which is taking a long time. So that kind of skills you need to know. So for that, we're gonna discuss about on change, onload, and all that. For doing all this, we are going to design a custom application. We are going, if you have any idea, just give me. If not, we will come up with any idea. I will create that application. I will create a tables. I will create a on change server side scriptings and all that related to that particular application. Okay, if anything which need to be discussed out of box, we will go to the incident management, which is already a out of box one. We will discuss about the already existing scripts which are written by the ServiceNow. Okay, these are all the APIs. I'm not going to in depth of each and every API. I mean methods which are available in that particular class. APIs is nothing but application program interface. So ServiceNow have different APIs. Okay, we are not going to each and every method. At least we'll take 1 or 2 examples from each APIs and we'll do that in a IDE. Okay, so there are almost 400 or 300 API methods in each and every API. So we are not going to in depth of each and every, but I will show you the place where you can get information about that whenever you need that. Okay, there I will provide you the syntax as well for each and every methods. I will everything will be available in this developer site only. Okay, I will tell you where it is available, how it is available, and how to get that one. Okay, I will tell you the debugging methods, how to debug your client scripts, server side scriptings, and all that. Okay, in depth of client side UI actions. UI actions is nothing but buttons, calling server side scripting, glide ajax, and all that. Okay, for your question, so we are going to design a separate application. Okay, for that application, we are going to design all this functionality, what we are planning to do. We will design a workflow, we will design a tables, we will design a fields in it and all that. Catalog items and all that will do. Okay, any questions in this?
How about the certifications? How would we prepare for that?
That we will discuss in the first session. So I'm not going to give that in today because it's almost crossed 1 hour. So I don't want to extend these demo sessions anymore. So in tomorrow's topic, we'll try to discuss about what is that at the end of the session, what is that you're gonna gain. Okay, so are we what are kind of applications we have, what certifications we have, how to apply, how to enroll for a certification. That will be in the last session, our training last session. Okay,
so is there any like practice sessions for certifications?
dumps, you mean CSA dumps, right? If you are starting
Yeah.
to CSA, so I will give you the dumps where you need to follow. Okay, and if you are new to ServiceNow, see, ServiceNow will by default it will provide that site where you can plug. Let me go here in the learning part, learning overview or now learning somewhere for start learning. If you want to start with the scratch, you can do this. It will give you a high level knowledge how to start with a new application and all that. If you want in depth of each and everything, you can click on this get started and start learning at that one. So it will not give you a hands-on practices, but yeah, it will just tell you how to do that. You need to do that. Okay, in our training, we will design a custom application and we'll do that application. That will help you out. So I'm not going to give you any PPTs going forward. I'll just tell you what is that, why it is used, and how it can be applied in our service now. Only that kind of a knowledge I'm going to give you. Okay. So in, I think tomorrow session you will get clarify how is my training is going to be. How we are going to give you a practical demo for you in for each and everything which we are going to cover in the agenda. Okay, for for CSC certification, I'm not directly jumping into that because we have people who are starting from scratch, right? For that, they should have a minimum knowledge of what is this CSA, what is mean for, what is this. After learning this, okay, they have this fundamental knowledge. Now they will think about their career to start with what kind of a certification I need to do, what is use of that certification, what is the plus points if they complete, if they're not complete, and all that. Okay. Yeah, this is what I want to cover. Any questions if you have? If not, we can close this session. So we are planning to have complete this as soon as possible, like 20 or 25 days mostly. Okay, I will try to cover all the agenda. Once we cover this all the topics only, we are going to end our session. It's not like we have crossed the 20 days or 20 hours. We are going to close this. We are just closing this whenever we complete all the topics in our agenda. Okay, we are not going to talk any extra thing which apart from this agenda. Okay, related to integrations, related to any CSM or anything. So that will be separate training for us. Okay, so every day there will be only 1 hour session. Okay, it might be extended, depends on how interest you are showing in this, based on your questions and clarifications which you need and all that. We will try to extend that at least 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, and timings, we will confirm you whether it's going to be 10 the same time every day or not. But yeah, so I was currently working on shift 3. It is very hard for me to log in mornings of IST. Okay, it might be like 10 o'clock here. I'm very glad if you have this afternoon sessions as well. Okay, evening again I need to jump at 3 o'clock of my time. Again it will be next 3 o'clock which I need to log out. I mean morning 3 o'clock. So please make sure that 10 is okay, or else it might be 1 or 2 is also okay for me. Okay, try to yeah, we will discuss with HKR and we'll get that confirmation to you. Okay, any other questions? If not, I'm going to close the call.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks everyone who joined the call. Hope you are going to join the next calls. We'll discuss on more on service.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks everyone. Bye bye.